Hello, this is the King of Anjosica. Here with another lost story. As you see, I've made a new playlist called Lost Stories. The host of stories in which I deleted when I was going through mood swings. I thought doing papers wasn't right and all that. And some stories I typed out, some stories I've recorded, saved on Google, and went through all kind of hell because my Google is full. I can't really record anything no more. But I found a lost story. This story happens after the end of the true utopian story and before um, the first Voidarians came, and also has the rise of Kursna. There's a series of battles and heroes that happened in between, which I did not record in any video, but I just found the typing. And so here's that story now. After LaFleur, true story. From Utopia to Voidariya, the battle for the universe begins. 2,000 years later, fresh from the utopian story, new powers begin to rule. Hidden powers rise due to Anjosica and Lexicon's power over the years between 6100 and 7500 became relaxed and didn't really sought to rule over much of anything. Because of this and ambition, war, greed, and chaos returned to Utopia. Anjosica, although it stood, was still ruled by LaFleurs, but they themselves did not rule all of the planet. The Electricons gave in to form the new Builderon, but this time on a new, more kind of ruler, kind of leader, whom they saw in the clan as equals, and thus the wars between them stopped. Soon merchants under King Sudi and Prince Seizuki ruled their kingdom and sought to rule all the world. However, their ambition would be challenged by Yuvi Doctoran and his Medonian clan, as they and the Builderon and the Banking clan sought to form a union of powers to maintain peace in Utopia to prevent an all-out war from breaking out. Seizuki and Sudis and the Sudi merchant and Sudis wanted to rule all of the world, but because of the union, they could not do so. So they made a loose alliance with the banker clans on a lie, saying that the Doctrine wanted to use their powers in the union to take over the world, when it was the Sul merchants who really wanted to. Soon war broke out, as it was the Builderon sided with the Doctrine, and they saw through the weakness of the Sudis, Sudi, and their lust for power. 10 years into the war, it was a stalemate between the Sudi Bankeran and alliance and the Doctor and Builderan forces. The Builderan forces, with their strong and talented brave men and women, with the Bankeran's offensive, and pushed them back every single time they made an offensive against the Builderans. Losing, the Bankeran wanted the Sudi alliance to help them. The Sudi army, for their part, had their own plan in motion, as they had seeking military weapons that would end both the Doctorans and the Builderon bosses in one fell swoop. Deep within the secret mine lay tons of powerful green stone blocks, purport being recognized and built their stone army. The stone army, once completed, would be the greatest army the world has ever seen. Defeat the Doctorans and the Builderon was inevitable. The Bankeron laid in wait, and by doing this, they would make the Builderon overconfident, but they would march way towards their territory. Victory was in view for the Builderon and marched through Bankeron territory. However, this was a trap. The Bankeron crown used the fire trap and snare the total Builderon army. Millions of Builderon troops died, and they were forced to retreat to the home country in which they were from. The Bankeron then began to chase them, seeing not the great peril which was to come. Not seeing the great peril which was to come, the Doctor sent troops to aid the Builderon, which made their capital vulnerable to attack. The Sul merchants sent therefore the Stone Warriors to Doctor capital to lay siege to it and to kill their leaders. Usually in the dead of night, killed the leaders and Yuvi Doctrine in the dead of night. The siege in a fighting march wiped out the Doctrine army without mercy. The Doctrine army was no more, and what was left of the Bilderon and the Doctrine armies was wiped out by the Bankron clans. The war was lost, for the side of right. The Sumatrans and the Bankron had won. Now Sudi under the command of Prince Suzuki, for King Sudi had died, did not want to share the world with the Bankron. Thus the battle erupted between the two. The Bankron army held on and was close to victory until the Sudi army summoned the best stone warriors to fight for them. The Bankron clan soon fell as they too were no match for the once asked for ally, the stone army. The Surmachans won, and Utopia was no more, and was renamed Plan Surimacha. All hope for peace was gone, but however, fate had other plans. The LaFleur elders, seeing that this evil was on the verge of Joseph, went back in time to save the Doctor leader from certain death by the tsunami. After saving Yuvi, they explained to him all that had transpired in real time. Afterwards, they took Yuvi, closest allies, further back in time to the Sudi mines to destroy it and to prevent the rise of the Stone Warriors. Yuvi encouraged by this went on a secret mission to save time from the impending doom. After the rescue, Yuvi and Randor, his right hand, went to the mines to go and stop the birth of the Stone Warriors. Randor killed the King Sudi and then moved quickly and visible fatches from impending doom. For his part, Yuvi placed dozens of charges all over the mines, and then he set them off. The Solaris Suzuki, who was quickly disoriented over the loss of his greatest weapon. The two leaders would then clash, and Yuvi would make it to be the victor. Randor was then ordered to confront the Bankron and make them see reason. Soon the war was over, and none of the horrible things that happened in a previous time did not happen. The world was once again officially at peace again. As for the Bilderon, they gave the world to Yuvi and searched for their own world and their own galaxy, which they called home. Yuvi took Utopia and established his own rules, and his wife overseen Anjosika, and the world was Madonia. A decade later, a mysterious lady named Diana, who claimed to be of LaFleur lineage, bring together by the elders, together and those who she might think they work for her to overthrow the Doctorants, to take back the world for her family. The downfall of the Empire uncommon to Kursner and his allies. Coop, who Kursner's rival, and his cousin Carantine, the strategist Toastmaster, who entrusted the rising mighty warrior Nadine, and his forces, united to overthrow the UV Empire. However, once the Empire fell, the war was still not over. Coop and his allies knew that the cycle of war would return if Anjoskan forces remained in power, so he would lead Utopia to peace and ever-changing democratic age. Diana knew Coop's intentions, but did not try to stop him. Instead, she faced him in battle. Even with all her wisdom and talented officers, the LaFleurs were defeated by the cooperative rule began. Kursner and his men returned to their homeland embarrassed, but he was defeated by his rival in battle. Voidariya went off to the next world. Her family was forced to return to Anjoskan, knowing the future of Utopia was in good hands. 8 years later, a new danger would come to test the new government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Fidel and his allies came to the planet, and with his power, Fidel tricked Coop into thinking that they were long-lost friends. This was the rules. Play of well as they began to get more political power. Kirsten knew Coop from childhood and never knew Fidel, Coop's life, and anybody else's life for that matter. Before Kirsten could act on this, an old enemy from the time of Diana's conquest, Tashawn, who had failed to overthrow the Doctorants first, had risen again, and with powers granted to him by the god in Shermanica, he came to destroy Androsica. Coop and Kirsner and his friends traveled to the Golden City to defend it. When they arrived, the elders are combined into one single hero to face Tashawn and to stop him. The battle was evenly matched until Tashawn used a cheap shot to sword the elder hero and push him aside to destroy Joseph when the Fidel and the Fidelian Phaedra came and consumed Tashawn and wiped all of the Joseph. The elder was fighting him also died. Dazed, shocked, and confused in disbelief, Kirsner and his men knew they had been played in a deadly triangle between Ku, Fidel, and the Fidelian Phoenix Phaedra played an important role in Fidel and the Phoenix's immortality. Soon the two forces, Fidel and Ku and Kirsner, fought a decisive battle at the famed Bilderun Castle. The only way to stop the Phoenix and to save the world was to kill Coop and end the triangle. However, no one in Coop's side wanted to kill their lord. However, the fate would have it. But one man, for wanting to kill Coop, Kirsner was on his side, and the mantle now will be passed down to Kirsner as the battle begins. So now Teshon was also a disciple of Michelle Mankin during the early days of the Utopian story. I forget because he was one of the officers of Michelle Mankin after the King Film was defeated and King Carlo and Michelle Mankin had that temporal alliance. I forgot all about that in Teshon Jr. But yeah, and then after this story came, Fidel was dead and Karen Time hated Kirsner for killing his cousin. And after all that, that's when Color rose again, and it's in the mansions, and he's fighting, and Kirsner went with Damien to defeat his dark side, and all that story, and that's how that happened. So anyway, I forgot about UV Doctrine, and Teshon those, and I forgot Diana first came on this era. So that's also something to recognize. So that's it.